Justin Ezra. I am 18 and I'm about to go to American University.
I'm 17.
Robert Van Brackle. I'm a student at Cambridge High School and a medical intern. I'm clearly not over the age of 21.
Mrs. Hall. I am a teacher at Cambridge High School, and I have one 2.5-year-old and another one on the way. I certainly am over the age of 21.
So, do you have any experience with alcohol?
Very minimal. I'm Jewish, so occasionally in like Passover and stuff, it's like traditional to drink wine, but other than that, I don't do anything with alcohol.
Yes. I'd say maybe twice a month. It's fun to just hang out with your friends and drink, have a good time. It's a party thing.
My parents have let me try it before, but I've never actually done any drinking in a social setting.
I do have experience with alcohol. Well, currently I do not drink because I'm pregnant. That's frowned upon in most of society. But when I do consume alcohol, it's a glass or two of wine a week, not very much. My father was an alcoholic, so I stay away from it for the most part.
So the minimum legal drinking age, the MLDA law specifies the legal age when an individual can purchase or publicly consume alcoholic beverages. The MLDA in the United States is 21 years. However, prior to the enactment of the national minimum drinking age of 1984, the legal age when alcohol could be purchased varied from state to state. What are your opinions about the current drinking age?
I think it's fair. It's any younger and it might become too hazardous, but any older and I don't think you'd be able to kind of experience the kind of enjoyment you could, because at that age you should be responsible enough. Psychologically, your prefrontal cortex should be developed at that point, so you should be wise enough to understand the consequences of alcohol at that point.
I think the drinking age is currently too high. I think countries like Canada got it right at 18, and I think that's what it should be lowered to, because it just seems unnecessary that you can join the military and you can smoke tobacco products. You can't drink alcohol at 18.
I have mixed feelings about it. I understand the argument on both sides. I think that the argument that if you are old enough to fight for our country, that you should be old enough to purchase alcohol is a valid one. And I think Congress has tried to, and the military has tried to make concessions for that. So people that serve in the military can purchase alcohol on military bases, in bars, and in liquor stores on a military base. And so, you know, to a certain extent, it's kind of like the voting age. I feel like maybe there needs to be some accommodation for that. But then on the other side of things, I also understand that alcohol causes a lot of damage to your body and to your brain. And for kids to consume alcohol, it has a tremendous impact on brain development. And I see that, you know, people that drink earlier or get exposed to that earlier are more likely to have, you know, certain parts of their brain not fully develop as people that don't have alcohol exposure prior. But, you know, we have experience with Europe, who obviously has a lower drinking age and a much greater or looser interpretation of alcohol consumption, and young children get exposed to it earlier in life, and it becomes just kind of a societal norm. And I think that has validity too. You know, there are health benefits to red wine in small amounts in terms of what it does for your heart and other things like that. But we're talking, you know, 1 or 2 glasses a week. We're not talking mass consumption, an entire bottle of wine. And, you know, the culture in the United States of alcohol consumption is a completely different one. You know,
I think it's a little high because most kids are strongly influenced by it and end up drinking by the time they're 18 anyways. And I also believe if you're old enough to be drafted into the Army, you should be old enough to drink.
Last fall, a group of over 100 college presidents, including the heads of Dartmouth, Virginia Tech, and Duke, signed a declaration stating that the 21-year-old drinking age is not working, and fireworks went off. When the age was raised to 21 in the mid-1980s, the goal was to reduce highway fatalities. But everyone knows that the 21 age limit hasn't stopped minors from drinking. And now some experts believe it's actually contributing to an increase in extreme drinking. As John McCardle of Middlebury College puts it, it's so widespread, it's the norm.
This law has been an abysmal failure. It hasn't reduced or eliminated drinking. It has simply driven it underground, behind closed doors, into the most risky and least manageable of settings.
So some people think that the high drinking age isn't a deterrent, but instead is fostering more teens to drink irresponsibly.
For example, former president of Middlebury College in Vermont, John McCardle, believes that lowering the drinking age back to 18 would make kids safer.
McCardle states that drinking is so common it is now the norm. He claims that the current drinking age is actually a failure and is encouraging more and more teens every day to break the law.
With your experience with alcohol, does John McCardle's viewpoint change your opinion?
I do agree to a certain extent that we have come to a point where we expect almost kids to consume alcohol underage. And I don't know if I agree with the argument that if we lower the drinking age that it'll make kids safer though, because I don't think that that's gonna go away. Do I think that maybe over time it will normalize? Maybe, but then who's to say, okay, we lower it to 18, but now kids that are 14 are drinking, and we already know that that's happening. And so will lowering the drinking age actually greater embed into middle schools and other lower age groups to try alcohol sooner because now they're even closer in age? And I think that that's also kind of part of the culture. But yeah, I don't know if I completely agree that it will make kids safer. But I certainly think that we've already kind of come to an agreement that it's almost like the law doesn't matter when you get to college.
And I don't think the objective here is to do what would effectively reduce these crimes. I think what's more important is having a justified punishment for doing what you shouldn't do at this age legally. The drinking age isn't 21 so that when you're younger you can't have like fun or you can't enjoy yourself. It's so that you are safer at a time when your judgment and your understanding and comprehension of your decisions may not be fully matured, or you might not be completely aware of everything you're doing at the current time when you're younger. So that's why the drinking age is where it is. And it's true that if you do lower it, there would be less crime, but that's not the purpose of the law.
As stated by McCardle, do you think that the current drinking age is unworkable or just not enforced properly?
I think the current drinking age, if they're going to keep it 21, needs to be enforced better. It's too easy for underage people to obtain alcohol. Not that I'm complaining, but it's just so simple to go out and ask one of your friends to get it, or use a fake ID, or just, a lot of places don't even card. If they're going to keep it at 21, you need to enforce it better. I think the high drinking age just makes people want to do it even more. They want to act more like adults. They'll want to do it. If you lower it to 18, I think it'll deter too much underage drinking, because it seems so close to be 18 that you're willing to wait for it. In a lot of cases, like when you're turning 16 to drive, kids aren't hopping in cars at 14 and just taking off. But I think that'll happen if you lower it to 18 with drinking. They'll wait the time they need to wait to start drinking. I feel like being raised the right way can put you on the correct direction to understanding the dangers of alcohol and drinking and driving and how to consume it in a safe environment?
18.
What?
Because that's a constant among the world, and if you're able to be drafted into the Army, you should probably be able to drink. That seems like a good bar for adulthood.
I would like to see more research, and I'd like to see more conversation about it. I think that we do a very poor job on the educational level of teaching our kids about responsible alcohol consumption, but I think that because it's a problem, we need to be addressing it sooner. I mean, if you look at areas like Milton, alcohol consumption in high school is a big deal. It's happening all over the place, and it's actually creating a gateway to other things that are a lot more concerning. And so, you know, what is this? We need to be talking about what this culture is that we want, that kids are looking for escapism, because that's really what alcohol, I think, is doing for them.
I think it's good where it is right now, but it might need to be changed in the future, depending upon kind of what integrated a lot of how much society changes with technology. I would say, depending. Do we have like fully self-driving cars at that point? So does the drinking age matter less, or does, you know, can technology do enough for us that the consequences of drinking would decrease? That just depends in the future. But for right now, and for probably the next 10 or 15 years, I think it is where it is. It needs to be in the United States at least. My name is Justin Ezra. I am 18.
Mrs. Hall, I am a teacher at Cambridge High School. And
Robert Van Brackle, I'm a student at Cambridge High School.
I believe the current drinking age of 21 is effective.
I believe the current drinking age is ineffective.
I think it's a little high because most kids are strongly influenced by it and end up drinking by the time they're 18 anyways.
I am in favor of keeping it as it is, and so I hesitate to say that I think that lowering the drinking age is a good idea. I think that there's validity to that conversation, but I think that the greater conversation needs to be, what about American society is making alcohol such a problem?